Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk a little bit about how are we unlocking capacity and capability for growth in Unilever. And we're calling that by being resourceful, because we will do that by being resourceful. First of all, who are we? So first of all, at the center of us is our purpose, which is make sustainable living a commonplace. And I'm on purpose presenting Unilever as its purpose, because this is really at the core of what we do. We are a company of 53 billion euros, and we touch every day 2.5 billion people with our products. So we do personal care, home care, ice cream, foods, etc. So huge company, therefore we have a huge responsibility and purpose. 51% of our products are sourced from sustainable materials, and we have decreased the total waste in 96%. So we're taking seriously sustainability, as well as we're upskilling women all around the world, many women, as you can see, giving them micro skills for them to thrive. Oops. There. So what is it that we've seen in Unilever? We saw some market trends, and I'll discuss about our Open Talent Economy initiative, very resourceful. But why is it that we have done this in Unilever, and what is it that we spotted? We spotted the explosion of the gig economy, and for us that meant is skills which are ready now, fast access for those skills that we need in Unilever. We also spotted the digital boom. So many artificial intelligence platforms now working much more better than in the past. Also, changing expectations of the millennials. So no longer people wanting to work from 9 to 5. They want to work remotely. They don't like a workplace which is dull or boring. They want exciting environments, and they want exciting work as well. And then it is the age of the partnerships. So thinking about this, how do we disrupt ourselves, but how also we build different consortium models. We partner with different technologies, so we come up with a third business model. How can we really partner with technology to bring in internal marketplace, or with technology to deliver a digital recipe for our consumers? So if we connect all these dots in terms of what's happening in the marketplace and the future of work, this is why we're doing Open Talent Economy. Also, just to mention what is a holistic change that we're driving in Unilever. It's about the future of work. So that means for us, we're moving from only thinking in profit to thinking in purpose. It's organizational purpose, brands with purpose, and people with purpose. We're driving purpose workshops in which people discover what's their mission here on Earth in Unilever, whether that is a big or a small mission. The point is for them to know more themselves and to have drive towards that. We're moving from hierarchies to networks. We've removed every possible label in Unilever. In the past, we had high potentials and we called them out. We remove all of that, and we're removing a lot of the icons of hierarchy. Also, we've moved from a controlling command and control culture to a much more empowering culture, and we call this Connected for Growth. So we started multifunctional teams within our core, with marketing people, directly having consumer insight. So Unilever was very global company. We've moved the global decision-making into the local countries. So all of the countries, they manage their own P&L. Categories in countries manage their own P&L with multifunctional teams, with a marketing leader, which is a small general managers for that given category. And they're working like a Scrum team there. And we've moved from planning to experimentation, from privacy to transparency as well. So this is a whole ecosystem of change that we're doing in Unilever. But what then is Be Resourceful, or our Open Talent Economy? We've heard the business, and the business was in an industry like ours, in which we grow 3.5% annually, more or less. The name of the game for us is how can we keep growing and selling, increasing volume, increasing pricing, but at the same time, how can we reduce costs as well from a financial perspective, right? So how could we in HR stop saying no to line managers in terms of the constraints? Whenever they came with us and say, hey, can I have a full-time employee? I'm dying in silence. I can't do this work. I don't have the right skills. Everyone was complaining about that because we're also moving Unilever to be a much more linear organization, also because of agility, right? So then what other things we could give them? So this is where we started and say we need to drive a huge mindset shift in Unilever. And this is how do we show our business, our leadership teams to be resourceful, to think without constraints and think of the abundance of resources that exist outside with new skills, with ready-now skills, abundance of new business models, and abundance of new business ideas. So we've done that, and what is it that it's open talent economy or be resourceful? It's all about fast access to new skills through freelancers, I'll show a little bit what this is about. It is fast access to talent and entrepreneurs, and fast access to new business idea and new business model. How can we have that right away? It's why would the business care about all of this? How is it that we will show business value? So we're finding use cases that are showing growth, incremental turnover, real incremental turnover. So we are doing a very strong effort in terms of measurement. We're reducing people cost because our vision is how can we become leaner for agility, and how can we bring in a higher flexible layer of dynamic resources, seasonal ones coming and going, to perform specific jobs, and decrease a little bit the structured fixed layer of full-time employees. How can we become much more flexible and agile? Then it's about less fix, more flex, less cost in our balance sheet, more dynamic and seasonal. And then why is this important for people? It's because for people, we will get them to do more purposeful work. So less of transactional, boring work. It's all about how can we get them to develop into different other projects, to work with a freelancer, to do crowdsourcing, to partner with a startup, with a small consultancy. How can we get them to do that? So this is then be resourceful and open talent economy. This is our will, and we're basing our strategy in 6 different pillars. One is about partnerships with either with startups, small consultancies, big companies. Why we do this is because we want to bring in skills. Let's say that I go and do a swap with Deloitte for 6 months because I want to learn about future of work. And someone in Deloitte gets into Unilever for 6 months, right? How can that is the talent outbound. How can we do partnerships? And this is an example. So we have in Europe, the Hellman's team, the marketing team, doing a partnership with QuickWhip, which was a startup. Because we don't know how to get into the digital consumer, we partnered with that digital startup and we launched a recipe resulting in an incremental turnover and resulting in our team gaining digital skills at that right moment. Then we have what we call internal marketplace. So internal marketplace is artificial intelligence matching people against jobs and tasks, and as well that would be developed to match people against jobs itself. Why would people like to put 10% of their time into a project? It's because either that taps into their passion or into their purpose or because they want to develop. So we're not pushing, this is a pull. We're asking people, do you want to participate? Just as an example, I just posted myself a small project and I received in 1 week 15 people wanting to work for Be Resourceful. So this is quite good. It will enable remote working. It will enable a truly global way of working, because it doesn't matter if I'm working from Singapore with someone from the US or from Ukraine or from South Africa. So then is about agile ways of working through sprints, through scrums, and freelancers, of course, that I think I don't need to explain, right? With Catalant, also we're working with Upwork. So basically, what we started doing is allowing a lot of experimentation within Unilever, and that has resulted in 40 different use cases that I will mention some of them. So we have in Pakistan an incremental turnover use case. So what Pakistan has done, they've gone and said, how can I deliver ice cream in 10 minutes? Basically, a huge challenge. They did a hackathon, received 350 ideas. They partner with a logistics company which developed an artificial intelligence for us. So basically, they connected the deliverer, which is a neighbor within a neighborhood, to the consumer, which is the other neighbor. So if you're in that neighborhood, you will go into a grocery store and you'll deliver ice cream to your neighbor. And that person will receive an incentive. This is, so the result of this is 1% of growth for the Pakistan company, which is a €1 billion business for Unilever. Imagine 1% of business growth. It's just amazing. Then is in Indonesia, I received a call from the vice president of personal care saying, Raquel, what can I do? I cannot have more FTEs, and I need to launch 5 different brands, variants of brands. This is a real story. So then we called up Catalant. They helped us deliver 5 different marketeers, and we've launched 5 different brands through those marketeers, just in the market in 6 to 9 months. It's an amazing example as well. Then for fast innovation, we're using crowdsourcing. So in China, what we did is we do shampoo as well. So our clear brand, we wanted to launch a millennial campaign. But the marketing people, they are 40 years old, so they don't own the insight, right? It's like me trying to do vegan campaigns if I'm not a vegan. So then what they've done is that they crowdsourced the idea. They've gotten millennials to work on that millennial campaign, and that resulted from 9 months to deliver the campaign in only 2 months, and with, as well, much more incremental turnover. It was a quite successful innovation because you have the right consumer insight. Then we're also launching in Turkey what we call our millennial crowdsourcing. You can, for different use cases. So basically we have a platform in which we put in there students with digital skills, and we deployed those students to do reverse mentoring for our leadership teams in terms of millennial consumer insights, but as well, we are substituting some full-time employees or some job descriptions, full-time roles with students. So we've tested already, and we've decreased 30 FTEs by bringing in students with the right consumer insight, with the right profile, digital savvy, and we're doing that while bringing in, decreasing people costs, increasing as well the insights that we need. What is it that we've learned so far by doing this in Unilever? And we've gone through 1 year journey as for now, is it's all about mindset shift. So if I would say one thing, we've been working a lot with the leadership mindset shift and HR mindset shift. It's moving literally from thinking in constraints to showing the whole bunch of abundance of resources, possibilities, use cases, bringing in practitioners such as Turkey team bringing in reverse mentoring and so, and showing that to the world. And you cannot imagine the amount of people that are willing to do so, to experiment with that. Then, in terms of adoption, you need then to inspire, you need to allow. So just forget about control. Just inspire and let people do. upskill people and show value. So we've gone through a strong upskilling of HR and leadership teams on how to do this. And also we've shown value. We've shown the incremental turnover. We've shown the decrease in people costs. We've shown new business models. And then it's allow experimentation on the business in HR, local versus global. This I get a lot is you need to give freedom for entrepreneurship, but also give a framework if you want to scale up. So this thing in terms of letting people experiment, you should do. This is the way to get going. But then, yes, as well, you need to give clarity and framework to be able to scale up. Then agile innovation, but what are the roadblocks that we have hit is, in large companies as ours, it's about bureaucracy. So how to overcome bureaucracy, finance bureaucracy, how can we pay faster, how can we do faster processes, how can we really bring agility and flexibility? And then the most difficult thing for us that I hope we're cracking hopefully next week, we're working on it, is how to break down roles into smaller tasks and jobs to be done. How to upskill HR on doing so, how to upskill HR to really become a business partner, a consultant almost, going with the business, understanding what's the business strategy, translating that business strategy into a very resourceful strategy in terms of how to resource flexibly, and then what are the jobs to be done there. And this has taken us a lot of time to upskill HR. We're now doing a very comprehensive, methodical way on doing this, so let's see how it goes. But upskilling HR is it's very, very important, as well as finally is we in HR, we are not enough externally connected. We're not enough connected with the business. We're not enough externally connected. So if we want to be cutting edge in HR, we really need to know all the time what's happening outside. What are the most relevant platforms? Which technologies outside? We need to be super digital savvy. We need to be data driven. We need to be emotionally intelligent. We need to upskill ourselves all the time, have learning agility. Because how are we going to ask something from the business that we're not doing ourselves? So with that, thank you so much. And if I have any time, I don't know, I've eaten all my time for questions, but...
No, we have time for questions. Thank you, Raquel, first. Thank you very much. So I think you've given us a lot to think about. There's certainly a lot underway at Unilever. Questions from the audience for Raquel? Kevin.
We talked at breakfast for about 30 minutes, so I got a lot of good insight from Raquel. So I'm going to give the floor to somebody else.
Hi, Raquel. I'm Fuad Kaur with Bose. Had a quick question for you regarding that last topic of breaking down roles into tasks and jobs to be done. How do you go about doing that? Any early insights you can share with us?
Yeah. So with that one, either you can boil the ocean or make it very practical. So we've gone into thinking is we need to transform the whole organization and understand the taxonomy of the work we're doing, and ideally break that into chunks of work. So let's see if you understand what marketing is doing and you break down that. You then bring in talent pools. You send those talent pools of freelancers, let's say for marketing, to tackle those chunks of work, right? But that is a very heavy organizational transformation work to be done, which we are doing, by the way, but it will take a little bit more of time. And also you need to do that together with the digital transformation, together with the business transformation. So we are understanding that more and more. In summary, it's about, and we've done theoretical exercises on that. So what's the work you can automate? What is the work you should keep because it's your competitive advantage and your strategic capability that you should keep inside your organization? And what's the work which is not strategic for you that you can outsource, right? So that we're doing, but to be honest, that is not the biggest unlock. I'm not going to be able to scale up in Unilever right now, be resourceful by doing that, right? Because it's quite theoretical still. We're working on that. The most practical way is we're developing, so if I see what Vos was showing in terms of the strategy, right? If you get business partners to really understand what's the outcome of a given business challenge, so let's say I go and talk to supply chain leadership team, I ask them what are the 3 business strategy for this, but for that year or jobs to be done. Then I link that into saying, how can I get that work done through Be Resourceful? That is a sort of way of breaking that mission into chunks of either tasks or a little bit bigger projects that then you can resource flexibly. Whether that flexibly means freelancer, crowdsourcing, internal talent, doing a partnership, etc. This is where we need to really upskill HR in terms of how to have that conversation and bring it to a business. And we're doing that by doing a kind of lean startup workshop to get them through how to do that and to, in reality, go as the business and come back into the workshop and end up with your action plan, the business together with HR.
I think we have time for one more question before our break.
Hi, Robin Cohen from Johnson & Johnson. So a couple people have talked about this, that it all boils down to shifting the mindset of an organization, which is no easy task. So any tips on what you did there?
Work hard. What we've done is, so it's the most important thing to do, right? So you really need to think through it. What we've done is both top-down and bottom-up. So top-down, we've shown this several times with the leadership team saying, what is the business case? So how can we really decrease the cost and bring in growth opportunities and show what's possible, inspire, show the whole ecosystem of abundance of resources outside to the leadership teams. And we've done that repeatedly with sexy videos, with sexy presentations, with sexy everything, right? So you need to do that. Then the way in which you get the wheel running in the organization is not necessarily through that. Is by letting people experiment. So what we've said is that we started socializing this with every country in Unilever, starting with the top 20 countries turnover based, in terms of what Be Resourceful is and the amount of possibilities you have. And then we found 400 entrepreneurs that despite we didn't have the policies, the governance, the processes, the IP, the confidentiality, all of that, they just went and do it. And therefore, we have 400 different use cases that we've shown, that we've measured in terms of business value, and that we keep showing and showing and showing. So because we've done that, we've shifted the mindset, but also you need to think that we are in a world in which FTE is scarce. So scarcity plays a big role. You need to have scarcity for people to get creative as well.
Thank you very much, Raquel. And